Is the Sunshine State always shiny? Clearly not. Today we have some gray skies, overcast, actually not any blue to be found, and I think it's going to be rainy pretty much most of the day, which during this time of year, it is more than welcome. We definitely want some rain, but it's not always sunshine and rainbows when you move from one spot to another, especially if you're thinking about moving to Central Florida, where you expect it to be sunny and you expect it to be happy and for things to be happening kind of like they do in the magical world of Disney World, or because it's the theme park capital of the world, because it is vacation hub of the world. You think that everything's going to be great. The truth is, there are some things that, now that we've been here nearly 3 years, I think about sort of as we were journaling our experience. There are things that I think about now that I don't know that I expected. So, number one was dealing with the negative emotions, the feeling of happiness and excitement when you're looking at locations, when you're deciding where you're going to move. It's all fun, and that's great. And we had the absolute best time doing it. And even planning the move and all of those sort of fun things that you do when you're thinking about packing up your house and kind of downsizing. And that was stressful on its own, right? It had its own kind of ups and downs. But the truth is, it's kind of exciting because you're making a new start. But once we were here, dealing with those negative emotions of being put in a location where, I mean, we chose it, so we weren't put in this location, but we did the move. Both of our adult kids helped us, and then they left, right? So they helped us move in. They were here for a few days, and it was like 4 days or so, and then they left. And then me and my husband are in this house alone in the middle of a location where we don't know one soul, not anybody. We have no job. Well, that's not true. My job is remote, so it came with me. However, my husband didn't have a job, and we didn't have a job to go to where it was like, okay, we're going to meet people pretty quickly. It felt a little bit more isolating than we thought. There was also just the grief, that feeling of grief when my kids left and got on the plane, and I thought, wait a minute, you're going to take a flight 1,200 miles away, and we don't actually know when we're going to see you next. Where in New York, we would see them at least every week. I mean, probably more often than that. Um, it was real grief. It was real. I was sad. I cried for days, and still felt really excited about where I was living, but still dealing with the emotions of the grief. And then the fear of, are we going to make friends? Are we going to fit in? Are we going to um, find our circle here? Regret. Am I regretting this? Am I regretting everything that we did because I'm feeling so negative about this? I don't know. But I will say that there were for sure feelings of regret. Did we do this too soon? Did we not plan it better? Did we just so many feelings of maybe we should have done this, maybe we should have done that. Um, and then there's a big emotion of that real grief and sense of loss for our community in New York. And that's where my work community is, that's where my friends are. My husband and I built our house there 20 something years ago. I'm not going to remember now, but over 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And we lived in that house, and we raised our kids in that house. And so to leave there, we were we had reconciled with that, right? We knew that we were ready to go, but that doesn't make the grief go away. It doesn't make the sadness. And that sense of loss of, oh wow, that was sort of that was our legacy, right? We built that, raised our kids there, and had the best times in that house. We had holidays there. We had all of our neighbors over. We just had such a great time there. And now we're in the middle of this new build here in Florida that we had nothing to do with, right? I didn't lift one hammer to do it. And here we are just looking at this beautiful, absolutely beautiful neighborhood, beautiful house, beautiful area, feeling kind of alone. And then you just think, oh my gosh, am I regretting this? Did I make the right decision? So those were real. Those feelings were real. And I just think that anyone who's moving probably experiences that. But maybe, I didn't expect it as much because of where we were moving. I thought that maybe it would be a lot less, but I felt it. Sometimes I still feel it. That's just the truth. Sometimes I still feel like, oh, if we had waited another year, or if we had planned this a little differently, or we had a little more money saved, or I don't know. There's always something, but that feeling of some sort of regret and sadness and grief, just letting go. Number two, the expectations versus the reality. Some of the expectations are related to the feelings that I didn't necessarily expect to feel that, but here we are, right? That's the reality. You feel what you feel, whether it actually makes sense in your logical part of your brain or not. You feel what you feel. But also some of the expectations that uh, that we had was, moving here. When my husband found a job, it would be okay. No, we're going. Come on. When my husband found a job, it would be much easier to sort of get the lay of the land and navigate where we were, where we are, the roads, the culture, the environment, the all of it. But coming from where we lived in New York, it was just tiny. It was so small. So it took no time. I mean, we grew up there. So, but if you came there, it took no time to kind of figure out the lay of the land, where things were. If you're from Long Island, Long Island is pretty small, pretty isolated, but the communities, you get to know them really, really quickly. Winter Garden is huge. Winter Garden is very big, and it feels. And I joined some of the Facebook pages so that this way I could be sort of acclimated a little sooner. And then you look up places like, I don't know, best place to get a haircut, and there's a million different suggestions, but they're also all over the place. It's far, so to get acclimated took a little bit longer than we thought, and we expected to kind of get into our routine a little sooner, and that didn't quite happen. It took a little while. So sometimes our expectations are not realistic, maybe, or we just need to adjust them. But another big one was, and I've talked about this before, my expectation was that I'd be going to Disney at least once a week, probably a few times a week. And the reality is, there's just not time for that sometimes. It's so beautiful here, and you come down here and you vacation, and it's just wonderful, and you just think, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to live there. But you're not on vacation, you're living here. And it sounds silly, but like the expectation versus the reality of people just working. You have to get up and go to work. You do the same things that everyone else does. You take your trash out like everyone else. You have to, clean your yard and do the things that people do when they live, as opposed to just be here on vacation and skip along merrily. So it just took a little adjusting it took us a little adjusting once we were actually here, for sure, me. So it's just something different to think about. And then creating your own happiness, regardless if the skies are gray, if it's overcast, if it's icky. We have to really make time for that, because especially with the line of work that I do, my husband has seasonal depression. So when we came here, that was a big part of the reason, to be near the sunshine, and I set myself up to work at home and work in my home office. You have to sometimes get out. We're here in the Sunshine State, normally when the sun is out, to take advantage of that. And so you have to kind of create your own happiness, whether it's just taking a walk, whether it's going down and hanging out by the pool, whether it's getting outside of your comfort zone and going and meeting some new friends. We've decided that these are things that are important to us when we moved here, so we have to keep doing it. So we're doing it. We're trying. And I mean, 3 years later, we're better at it, but it's a way just to find your own little piece of happiness, even when it kind of feels a little isolating, when you don't really know anyone. Again, we've met so many people. We consider so many of the people here in our community our family, but I still miss New York. I do. I miss my friends. I miss my family. I miss my colleagues. I have a fantastic, tight-knit circle of people there in New York who I call family, whether we're blood related or not. And you miss that. So there's a part of New York that's always going to be inside of me, that's always going to be in my heart, and that I miss desperately. So what are some things that you think about when it comes to moving, whether it's expectations, whether it's what maybe your feelings are about it, and how do you find happiness every day? Leave us a comment and let us know, and we will see you tomorrow on Fab 50s Florida.